All right, it's Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, and America is back. The crazy woke fever dream has broke after Marine veteran Daniel Penny has been fully acquitted in the most left-leaning jurisdiction in America, something that's exposing these crazy people that are running our country. AOC, angry. Other Congress people, angry. BLM, angry. Threatening to lash out. We have the details. And President-elect Trump getting some good news yesterday from the U.S. Senate. These RINO Senators who were hesitant last week appear to have gotten the message with regard to his nominations. We're going to explain also, if you're a resident of the state of New York, get ready to receive some of the spoils from Donald Trump winning the election. Checks being cut from the New York governor's office, all thanks to Donald Trump. We're going to explain. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. American hero and former Marine vet Daniel Penny has been fully acquitted in his Manhattan trial yesterday after jurors sided with Penny that he was justified in rushing to protect fellow commuters. This is a big, fat rejection to corrupt DA Alvin Bragg, who tried his hardest to put this young man in prison and throw away the key. Alvin Bragg, he's a thug, folks. He tried every trick in the book to convict Penny, someone who the other prosecutors in his office were urging him not to do this, not to charge this. His colleagues were telling him this wasn't a justifiable case, but he brought it anyway. He did the same thing with Donald Trump. He's like got a thing for prosecuting innocent people. He's sick and twisted. Worst type of prosecutor there is, bringing both a second-degree manslaughter charge and a criminally negligent homicide charge over a cut-and-dry self-defense case. And there's now people calling Neely a victim, trying to rewrite what actually happened. No, Neely wasn't a victim. He was the enforcer. He was scaring everyone on that train, innocent elderly women and children. Imagine for a minute that was your mother or your wife was on that train with Neely, screaming over her, with telling her that he has a knife, he's going to kill her. He's not the victim. The women and children he was threatening were the victims. Honestly, tell me, if that was your wife or your elderly mother, wouldn't you want Daniel Penny there if you couldn't be yourself? This case has zero to do with race. These people want race to be an issue. For example, BLM, or what's left of it, held a press conference outside the courthouse yesterday to race bait and push for a reboot of George Floyd. Watch this.
People who keep asking, are we going to riot? Are we going to protest? Is that what's needed? Do glass have to break? Do cars have to burn for a black man to get justice in America? We can't show up with peace. We can't show up with facts. We can't show up with evidence and witness after witness. You give us nothing. And then you ask us to love this country. America hates black people, and we see it from that jury pool.
Then AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, New York Congresswoman, who wants to run for president in 2028, came out yesterday to say she believes that New York would be safer, the subway would be safer if people like Daniel Penny were in prison. What? Watch this.
Essentially said that he would do it again if necessary, if there was a present threat. What do you make of the comments?
Well, doesn't that, I just feel like that tells us everything. If we do not want violence on our subways, and the point of our justice system is a level of accountability to prevent a person who does not have remorse about taking another person's life. I mean, even people who have engaged in manslaughter or have taken a life accidentally express remorse. And so the fact that a person may express no remorse indicates that there's a risk that it may happen again. And if we do not want to unleash that level of violence, then we should exert a level of accountability to prevent that from happening again.
The good news, though, is it's 2024. The American people are over this. We all know the truth. We're not afraid to say it, that your argument is tired, it's boring. The country is not divided by race. We know you wish it was. It hasn't been for decades, so stop. Just stop. Nobody wants to talk about race. It's obvious that these people wish there was a new civil rights movement. Well, You're 70 years too late, folks. If you're threatening to kill old ladies and kids on a subway, I don't care what color you are, I hope there's a Daniel Penny there to stop you. And thank God for the jurors, right, who were strong enough, had the conviction to stand up to the pressure of the judge who pushed that jury to go back and deliberate again for another day. If you've ever been in jury deliberations, you know jurors can get pressured. Other jurors want to go home. You know, they say to them, how do you not find this person guilty? How are you confused by this? And they can pressure them. This is a good day for America. It's a good day for Daniel Penny. A real bad day for the race baiters and for the creeps who are angry about this. Megyn Kelly, she summed it up perfectly yesterday, saying that the era of BLM in America is over. Officially and utterly finished. Watch this.
And somebody on his side yelled out in the courtroom, "It's a racist country. Hello, madam or sir, that's not working anymore. You're going to have to find a new line." I don't know what it's going to be, but the BLM era is officially over. It's over. You had us in some sort of weird, psychotic headspin for 4 or 5 years, and it's done. Trump's reelected, and Daniel Penny is acquitted in one of the most leftist jurisdictions in America, despite the fact that he is white and Jordan Neely was black. And they're still yelling, "It's a racist country, you fools. You absolute fools." And by the way, it's not just someone over on Jordan Neely's side. We had news coming into today that the outgoing chair of the DNC said his party is insane if they think the message of this election was to rethink identity politics. Double down, sir. Triple down. Quadruple. Do it. Enjoy oblivion. Enjoy your desert island where you have no one applauding anything you say and certainly no one voting for you. I look forward to watching you there. CNN reports that Neely's father also had to be escorted from the courtroom after shouting an expletive. Where was he? Where was he when Jordan Neely had dozens of arrests over the years, when he was punching 67-year-old women in the face? Where was the grieving dad then? I'm not sure. Now he's suing Daniel Penny. Oh, okay. You're going to get your money. Now you're totally behind your son. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't. Sorry, I don't.
Unelected New York Governor Kathy Hochul, one of the most unpopular governors in the country, announces she's going to send a $3 billion one-time payment to 8.6 million New Yorkers, she says, to help with inflation. Each family is going to receive either a $300 or $500 check. And guess where this newly found money came from? Closing down all of the shelters that they've been using and paying for these undocumented migrants, saving New York around $2 billion a month. It turns out having sanctuary city and state policies are expensive. Watch.
In my budget next month, they will send you a check to buy your groceries for a month or whatever you want to spend it on. And if you're an individual earning up to $150,000 a year, it's $300. What does that look like? All right. How about that for individuals? Now, if you're filing jointly and you have a family, you need a little more, right? Families are expensive. How about this? $500. $500 for families earning less than $300,000, because I know life in New York City is expensive and your salaries may sound nice, but they don't go very far.
Now let me know in the comments if you think this is a good policy, a good idea, taking $3 billion of taxpayer money and dispersing it back to the people in the form of a one-time check. What I can say is that unpopular politicians usually do this kind of thing. Historically, they either start a war if they're a president or they give people free stuff. Instead of doing this, personally, I'd prefer she just eliminate state income tax entirely, the same way other red states have, like Florida, Tennessee, Wyoming, Nevada, Texas, etc. Wouldn't that be more of a worthwhile policy? In another story, RINO Republican Senator John Cornyn confirms Kash Patel will be our next FBI director. This is huge news because all of Trump's picks need Cornyn's vote. Cornyn is one of these RINO senators who've been standing in the way of real, meaningful change. He was one of the senators that came out opposed to Matt Gaetz. Cornyn is a member of the Senate Republican leadership, so for him to say this, it means Kash Patel will very likely be confirmed, along with Pat Bondi as Attorney General. Watch.
Had a good meeting with Kash Patel, the president's nominee for FBI director. We still don't know what Director Wray's plans are, but eventually I assume that Mr. Patel will be confirmed as the next FBI director.
And this comes after Kash was on the Hill yesterday making the rounds, meeting with Republican senators on the Judiciary Committee. He met with Joni Ernst, the woman who's been trying to tussle her way into the SecDef job behind Pete Hegseth's back. Kash wrote on X yesterday, "I just finished a great meeting with Senator Joni Ernst. FBI needs a courageous leadership to implement reform. Senator Ernst is that partner." So it looks like Kash is in, baby. And it's something that is absolutely necessary right now. Look, it's been a day since Luigi Mangione was arrested by police in this CEO assassination, and we know more about this kid Luigi than we do Thomas Matthew Crooks, or whatever his name is, the man who almost changed the course of history forever, the evil, deranged shooter who tried to assassinate Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. We just made a video about that on Thursday or Friday, and it asked numerous questions about it, which the FBI has the answers to, but has failed to inform the public about. The man is dead. There's no reason to not release the information. Like, what did they find on his phone? The FBI has his phone. They were able to break into it. They know what is on the phone, but they won't tell us. Who was he speaking to overseas? Who professionally scrubbed the kid's house? Where did those improvised explosive devices come from that they found in his trunk? All questions the current FBI director knows the answers to, fails to tell us about, fails to even tell Congress while under oath refusing to discuss the investigation. This is just one reason out of many reasons that we need Kash Patel in that job. Kash has promised 24/7 declassification office.
You need a 24/7 declassification office, whatever you want to call it. Transparency, truth, whatever, I don't care. Sits in the White House, reports directly to you, and you take incoming from the United States of America. I want JFK. I want the 9/11 files. I want this. I want that. All the FBI, and this is a tool, this is something we didn't cover. What the deep state uses the most to cover up their corruption is an illegal application of the classification system. Remember the Lovebirds text from, this is a beauty, the Lovebirds text from FBI, DOJ land, Russiagate, Strzok and Page were texting each other. They were running the Russiagate investigation against Trump. They were the head of the counterintelligence unit at the FBI. And they're having an extramarital affair together. Can't make this stuff up. They're sending each other texts about how much they hate Trump and are going to create an insurance policy to stop Trump. Then we finally find those text messages. You know what the FBI and DOJ do for like a year? Redact them to congressional investigators and congressional men and women running the oversight of their agency. That's just one example. But it gets even better. Here's the deep state full circle. Just last week, do you know what Strzok and Page received from the Department of Justice?
What?
A $1.5 million payout to settle a lawsuit that Strzok and Page brought for the improper disclosure of their personal text messages on FBI phones. And the DOJ just rewarded them. They broke the law. They broke the chain of command. They broke every regulation there is in the FBI. They weaponized the system of justice against a political target they hated. We found those text messages, and we got them declassified finally in full when I became Deputy Director of National Intelligence. And the world has now seen them, and they can read them. And that's the best form of transparency. That's why I want this 24/7 declassification office. Don't have me regurgitate it to you. Read it. Get the documents, get the files, get the memos. But the deep state came full circle and gave these guys a payday for rigging a presidential election and breaking the law. So now you know what happens. That's step one. Step two, get America the truth. And that's what that office would be for.
All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.